What's the difference between baking powder and baking soda? Is there really a difference at all? If I run out of one, can I just replace it with the other? Hi, I'm Lauren with Pop-Up Physics at Penn, and this is food science. Well, there's a really easy test you could do at home to show that there is, in fact, a difference. So if I put a little bit of baking powder into water and mix it up, it starts to fizz. If I do the same thing with baking soda, there's no fizz. So clearly there is a difference between these two compounds. Well, it turns out that baking soda is a compound called sodium bicarbonate, and this is a basic compound, which means it has a pH that's higher than that of water. Baking powder contains this same compound, sodium bicarbonate, but it also contains other compounds, including something acidic and a starch, which stabilizes. So what does it mean for something to be alkaline? Well, water is a neutral solution, so it has a pH of 7. But baking soda is alkaline, which means that it has a pH that's higher than 7, or higher than water. Acidic compounds would have a pH that's lower than 7. So if I test each of these ingredients that I have here, along with water as a control, with these pH strips, then what we find is that we get different colors based on the different pHs. So baking powder is mostly neutral. It's a little bit more basic than neutral. Baking soda is very, very alkaline. It has a pH of around 9 or 10, and water has a pH of 7. So we'll see the color difference between these. As you can see, both water and the baking powder are relatively neutral with their pH, but baking soda has a much darker color here, a much more greenish bluish color, which indicates that its pH is higher than both water and baking powder. So what's happening is that when you put baking powder into water, the starch is dissolving, and the baking soda plus the acidic compound are able to react with each other and produce a chemical reaction that makes carbon dioxide. And so this carbon dioxide, this gas that's being produced, is when this is happening inside of your baked goods, it's causing them to rise. The gas is expanding in the oven, and then you get nice fluffy baked goods, biscuits, whatever you have. So I have right here some biscuits that I've made using baking powder and milk and flour and shortening and some other sort of standard ingredients. And you can see that they rose pretty well. They have a nice height to them. And there's some ripping on the side here, which shows that there was air trying to escape. So if I just straight up replaced the baking powder in this recipe with baking soda, what I would get is these. And you can see already that these look a lot different. They are much flatter and much darker in color. And so the darker in color is actually a very complex phenomenon that's happening here. So the Maillard reaction is what produces this dark color. And it's the same thing that's happening when you toast your bread or when you cook your steak. And it turns out that the Maillard reaction happens much faster in an alkaline environment, in a basic environment. So when you have the baking soda in here, this is happening much faster, and they got much darker despite both of these being baked for the same amount of time at the same temperature in the same oven. So this clearly didn't work, just replacing the baking powder with baking soda. But I can still create that acid-base reaction that I want to produce the bubbles if I add an acid here. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of lemon juice to this guy. And when I mix it up, I start to get bubbles. So we can see that we can still get the nice, light, fluffy, airy baked goods that we want if we just add some acid to this recipe. So lemon juice is an acidic compound, which means that its pH is much lower than water. So if I test this with the pH strip, then we see that it exhibits a really vibrant red color, and that indicates a pH of around 3 or 4. So it's much, much lower than the 7 of water. And so here in this recipe, I've once again only used baking soda, but now I've also switched out the milk for buttermilk, which is a naturally acidic ingredient. And I've also added a little bit more lemon juice just to speed that reaction along. And you can see now that the rise that I'm getting between these two is pretty similar. And I also get that nice darker color and some more complex flavor compounds from the buttermilk. So what difference do these changes make, not only in the rise, but also in the flavor and the texture of the biscuit? So these ones that are just baking powder, you know, they rose well, and there's a lot of nice gas bubbles in the final product, but the taste is a little bland to me. It tastes a little bit just like flour or like plain biscuit. These ones, the pure baking soda ones, they taste very bitter. They taste almost pretzel-y, and that's because alkaline things have a very bitter taste. There's not a lot of things that we naturally eat that are alkaline, so we have receptors to tell us, hey, this isn't something you should probably be eating too much of. So it tastes very, very bitter, especially in the crust, and a little bit like pretzels. The baking soda and buttermilk and lemon ones have a nice rich flavor from the buttermilk, the flavor compounds within the buttermilk. You don't really get any lemon juice flavor. It doesn't taste acidic at all. It's just all reacted away with the baking soda. But you do get a nice sort of more browned crust from the enhanced Maillard reaction that's happening here. And so it tastes a little nuttier, a little more flavorful. So you can see that if you want to replace baking powder with baking soda in a recipe, you're going to have to do it the smart way and make sure that there's acid in your recipe with baking soda. Thank you.